Live team coverage. Let's go straight to Baton Rouge, where reporter Aubrey Killian is at the Capitol with the latest on the coronavirus. Aubrey, what did the governor have to say about this?
Hey, Travers. So Governor Edwards just wrapped up a news conference within the hour. It was very lengthy, and he had a lot to say. Now, he did say he's been on the phone with the Vice President of the United States, trying to figure out exactly the best way to handle this situation. He also told us that more cases are very likely. So we are told, in fact, that there is a person who is being treated in New Orleans that is from Jefferson Parish right now. So Governor John Bel Edwards was not able to give us specific details about that person being treated right now. But again, he did wrap up a news conference not too long ago. He said this is going to definitely serve as an economic impact to Louisiana. He's still trying to hammer out those details. Now, health officials, we are told that they are interviewing those who came in close contact with the person who is presumed to have this virus. He says that people that are needing to take certain steps, things like hand washing and covering your cough, he says if you are sick, you don't need to be going to work or school. Here's much more on what the governor had to say within the past hour and a half. Take a listen.
That seems to be what's happening around the country and other states. Once they get their first one, they typically get another one and so forth. And we don't have any reason to believe that that's not going to be the case here in Louisiana. But that's why it's important that people take the precautions that we're giving them, because we can limit this. But it's going to require everybody doing their part. And so, yeah, it looks as though this is going to continue to get worse for some period of time before it gets better.
So the governor did note that it's important not to panic with this situation. He also says that they have hundreds of tests on hand right now, and more testing options are on the way too. Reporting live, I'm Aubrey Killian, WDSU News.
Aubrey, thank you. Officials in Jefferson Parish say now is not the time to panic. They admit news of a confirmed presumptive coronavirus case can be scary.
But as they told WDSU's Morgan Lentis, they've been preparing for the worst for weeks. She joins us live outside the Yenny building in Jefferson Parish. Morgan, what are they saying about this situation?
Yeah, Travers, we talked to the parish president and a council member, and they say, like many communities, they are keeping in constant contact with state and federal health officials. They say that information helps them keep up to date, and it also helps them inform people here in the parish on what they need to know. And they say that information is what will serve you well going forward. So you still need to continue to do things like wash your hands and stay home if you're sick. They say that is the best way that you can actually protect yourself. And that's even as they wait to learn more about these circumstances surrounding the first positive coronavirus case here in Jefferson Parish.
I think it's important just for people to remain calm and not overreact to one case in the state, especially close by in Jefferson Parish. Just continue to be prepared and do what you need to do to keep yourself and your family safe, and don't put yourself in a situation that you could regret later.
And again, we just want to remind folks, I know you've heard it a couple times, but it's still worth saying again, this is a person who has contracted the coronavirus. They are from Jefferson Parish, but again, they are at the VA hospital in New Orleans getting treatment right now. Reporting live in Jefferson Parish, I'm Morgan Lentis, WDSU News.
Morgan, thank you. And the city of New Orleans just wrapped up a meeting on the coronavirus impact on the city.
That's right. WDSU reporter Shay O'Connor joins us now live from the VA hospital with details on the situation as the first patient is being treated there. Shay.
Now, we have found out that this person is actually being treated here at the VA hospital. We're told that they were hospitalized on a Friday night. Now, that's 3 days ago with pneumonia-like symptoms. Now, as protocol, the hospital tested this person for coronavirus. The test was a presumed positive. Now, state labs are actually using the term presumed until that test is completely confirmed by the CDC. Now, we are told this person had not traveled anywhere. The Louisiana Department of Health are also investigating those who the person actually came into contact with.
This is something that we call contact tracing. The New Orleans Health Department will assist them however they need assistance. Again, there is only one known case of COVID-19 in the state at this time. We expect to see additional testing ramping up this week. As you know, Tests are being made available through commercial labs, and we do expect those to be online and available to local providers.
Now, we are also told that all people who came into contact with this person at this hospital are actually being assessed for exposure and will be self-quarantined over the next 2 weeks. And like I said, this person's age as well as their name is not being released at this time, and we will continue to keep you updated on this as well as those CDC results as soon as they come in. But for now, reporting live in Mid-City, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.